You guys just brought and sold.
Yeah, so
How was it?
it was a pretty intense process. It was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but you sort of work your butt off at the start, got lots of people through, and
Yeah.
we sort of went all in. Did everything we could with marketing and stuff like that, and didn't want to leave sort of any stone sort of unturned. And I think that paid off. With the numbers we sort of got through.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Because this is like, you guys are first-time sellers. This is the first time you've sold a place. Going to that next place, that next step, it'll all be like quite new for you as well.
Yeah, it was.
So,
Yeah, it was very different coming into it. Like last time we were first-time buyers. This time we were first-time sellers, and it's very different
yeah.
going through the process on the other side.
Choosing the agent. Thank goodness you guys chose me for it, eh?
Yeah, we did like seeing it on the other side as a buyer. We wanted someone we could trust and someone we believed in. That's one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Someone-
First one of the day.
We need a counter.
Someone we believed in and trusted and knew that would sort of have our, at the end of the day would have us, like any agent would, but you just had to go that extra mile for us if it was needed, and you had to go that extra mile to get it done.
I think in the market we're in, the market's good. Like it's a nice market. We're not in a bad market, but it's definitely, from when I started, it's taking a little bit more to get the
They're not selling themselves.
job. Yeah, to get the job done and get it over the line. Yeah. So it was like a real trust thing for you guys, and you mentioned that to me, and that was a big thing for me. Is Tom, we trust you. Like we know you'll give it 110%.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how good. Really appreciate that, eh?
Yeah, well, when things didn't go to plan at auction, we sort of needed you to step up, and you did. And you made all the calls and turned over all the stones and got someone through, and it all worked out. And then with the Harcourts, how that works.
Yeah, the network, eh?
That's really good, because I don't think we probably would have got the money we did if it wasn't for that sort of system.
Yeah. I think for me, was sitting in the living room, and it was before we're on the market, and you guys were like, well, would you do this little bit of marketing, Tom? And I was like, look, if you can, it's a little bit more of an outlay, but if you can, do it. And then you made the comment, we don't want to leave a stone unturned. We want to be there on the final day when we sell and know that we've given it everything we could. And then there's not more money left out on the table. There wasn't a better really scenario.
Well, I just think of like myself when I was looking for a property. You're flicking through stuff day after day after day, and it's just so easy to miss something. So especially that web stuff, like if you can get just yourself in front of eyes, get clicks, get that sort of formula going, however that works online. I think that's the difference really, because you just get eyeballs and then people through the door.
And that's the benefit of going with an agent rather than just doing it yourself. Is that you have the network and you have that person that's there fielding phone calls. My sister sold a house last December, and they didn't have time to do it through an agent, and they sold it themselves, and they probably could have done better.
Hey, was there another 50 or another 100?
You just don't know.
You don't know, and that's big money. You don't want to leave that really to chance.
No, it's life-changing money, really.
Absolutely. Let's get it to as many people as we can, as many people on the network as we can, and see what And you're also hiring a negotiator when it comes down to the crunch time.
Yeah, well, that's where I actually see the value. A lot of the
And fielding the phone calls.
the time with
Yeah.
all the
I
tire
had some
kickers.
painful ones on your place, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, let alone the people selling. But no,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the process. It was cool, like seeing it from the other side. Obviously, it was pretty ruthless because we probably cleaned the house more in 4 weeks than we did in the whole time we owned it.
Yeah.
But it's worth it at the end of the day. And then you obviously went number two.
Yeah.
You obviously went the extra mile with coming and lighting the fire for us when we took that weekend away to get away from it and understood that we were juggling baby and all that sort of stuff. So when you've got someone coming through the door that you trust, there's that sort of, you don't have to hide anything from the agent. You just be completely open what you're dealing with and going through, and that's everything.
Yeah, and I understand it's actually a huge. May sound easy. Just keep the home clean for open homes and viewings.
I've heard some of your stories.
That's a lot harder, eh? Yeah, you've heard some of my stories, but I've seen. Oh, mate. Yeah, I've seen a couple of things in the open homes.
Yeah.
I think the best one was guess, animal stuff through the house. Like
that's a new one. I can't believe you.
dogs go and toilet in the living room and show up for the open home, and there it is. But it wasn't your home, so it's
No, we're worried about the odd sock. I think we were fine.
yeah,
The odd baby toy lying around.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse.
That was good. I think what you guys did really well is you guys went with the flow. You said, Tom, what would you do in your situation in regards to method of sale, in regards to marketing and the process and timing wise? And I think that was, because we chat about that even with my partner who's an agent. We chat about that, and it's the sellers that really go with the flow, take it all on board and just go with it, get a result, a good result. And it's the ones that where it's just, you know, a bit of backlash and back and forth. We think do it this way and the agent thinks do it that way. Yes, we all working together and want to do it all together, but you guys were really like accepting of my advice and everything. And I guess we got there.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you're the expert.
Yeah.
You know, being in the jobs that we're in, Nick being a landscape architect and me being a data analyst, we are experts in our field, and so, you know, we understand, you know, when you want something done properly, you go to the person that is an expert.
I would have no clue what to do in both of your jobs. Oh, hey, Nick, I'm thinking of getting this whole place landscaped. I'm going to do it myself.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, we said a lot. You know, you got to trust the process, and we got you involved for a reason.
Thank you.
And if you start trying to number three,
I think we can still get that one.
if you start trying to micromanage, and you know the process, you're just not going to get it going how you want it. And you're telling the story. You're in front of the people. So at the end of the day, you've got to have belief in what you're doing.
We had a pre-auction offer in there.
Yeah, and like you know that was a.
Oh my gosh.
It's just
I miss my old house.
Yeah.
Can I feed it?
Yeah, go feed it.
Yeah.
Of course, go for it. You had a wee pre-auction offer in there.
Yeah, and that was
Probably wasn't quite at the level
no.
we wanted.
Look, I can't even remember what it was actually. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, it was only sort of 10, 15 grand low, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was close.
And you know, looking back, hindsight, you know, it's hard to know what to do in those
It's
situations.
tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, we wanted to exhaust all avenues, and like you worked so hard to get such numbers through, and we got such good numbers through. It felt like we were just sort of cutting
I've
ourselves a
had
bit short.
13 groups through 2 weekends.
Yeah.
When I open them. And that's like normal numbers
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
13 groups through 5 open homes. And that's normal numbers.
Yeah. Wow.
You guys had that in the first 15 minutes of your
Yeah,
place,
yeah,
eh?
it's bonkers. And a lot of that comes down to like the
Yeah.
presentation, the photos, all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff came together,
Yeah.
and we had that sort of type of property that was special. But also all that other work, you know, making sure you spend the money on marketing and all that sort of stuff definitely paid
Yeah,
off.
not taking shortcuts, eh?
Yeah. And so because of that, we thought, no, let's just, you know, exhaust all avenues and not be thinking what if. And the
absolutely.
best way to do that was go to auction like we'd planned.
Yeah. And we didn't sell on auction day.
No.
We're
So that was the
we're
emotional
I'm
roller
really
coaster.
honest that we weren't at a level that I was even. There was no pressure for you to take that money.
No, we knew,
I
we were
think we had-
confident in our decision. We'd talked to you about what we were confident with,
Absolutely.
and that was just so far off it. We just weren't
Yeah.
interested. And I think that wasn't really a reflection on the work done or you know the buyers that were actually wanting to buy it. It's just how it worked out or not.
We didn't have our right buyer in the room that day, and I think they were a wee bit off where we all knew that wasn't our buyer.
Yeah.
I was so sick that day actually. Eh?
Yeah, you were.
Holy moly. That sucked.
You saw your voice then at that point, but it wasn't much.
Yeah, but we knew we didn't have your buyer there in that room,
Yeah.
and then obviously passed it in, go to the conditional market, and we had it was on the Sunday night, so it was 4 days later.
Yeah.
We had the person there. They were great. I thought that was our buyer. Price level wise. Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
And
And
it all worked out. The ducks aligned.
ducks aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you have for advice for first time sellers?
Definitely how you're talking about, you know, the open mind. Definitely got to keep an open mind because and just be sort of flexible and adaptable because things get thrown at you. You can plan it as much as you want, but it's not going to work out like that. So you just got to enjoy the process as much as you can, even though it's pretty full on. Because if you're adaptable, you can sort of accept most things that come to you. And
Yeah, keeping the open mind.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then probably just because obviously it's normally a pretty pressure environment with whatever you're moving on to. And we were locked into another property, and if we didn't sell ours, we were going to lose that. But we had to be in a state of mind that we were willing to, otherwise, we could really shot ourselves in the foot. And so really knowing what your bottom number is, and that came down to the bank, what the bank was going to lend us. And so we knew what our absolute bottom was.
Yeah.
And you just got to stay true to that, because you can trip yourself up pretty quickly. But,
Yeah. If I had advice for first-time sellers, find an agent you can trust.
Yeah.
Take their advice.
Yeah.
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 You see it day in, day out, and yeah, you guys were great.
And someone who's just willing to put the work in, because if it doesn't go quite to plan, you need them to just work that little bit harder.
Yeah.
It might be over and above what they consider they're getting paid for, but at the end of the day, they've got to sell the property for you, and I feel like that's what you did. So.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh,
It's a legend you're doing it. So,
yeah,
wee baby Louie
yeah.
over there, how good.
Oh, we wanted to show our support. You've done a lot for us, so we thought, why not come in for a chat and let everyone experience what a good bugger you are.
Oh, mate, too good, too kind. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.